Now they're trying to bounce back after a rough year a year ago as we are underway in the 2017 preseason, and Akeem Hunt will watch that kickoff from Graham Gano sail through the end zone for the touchback. DeAndre Hopkins to the top of the screen. Savage on first down, pressure comes, gets rid of it, and it's incomplete, looking for Braxton Miller. First carry for Lamar Miller, and he's met and dropped in the backfield at the 22-yard line. Luke Kuechly. Bios and stats on each Texans player. Visit HoustonTexans.com. Savage on third down, pressure again, and Savage is sacked, and it's Kawan Short, who has been very active on this series. Short into the backfield twice.
Texans are doing on a regular basis.
Shane Leckler to punt. Demir Bird at the 39-yard line. Bird caught at the 45. Alfred Blue still not ready to go as Anderson on the first down throw finds Kelvin Benjamin, who breaks a tackle. Benjamin working his way inside the Texans 40 and down.
Been on to a division rival. Texans have got to step up on the back end.
There's Christian McCaffrey, the electric rookie for the Panthers, who has been the focal point of most of the Panthers coverage, quite honestly, in the preseason. Second down and 8. Anderson trying to fit it into his tight end, Greg Olsen, who up on the defensive line with Watt and Clowney at the ends. On third down, Anderson finds his man, and then a beautiful open field tackle by Kareem Jackson, who upends 50-yard field goal try for Graham Gano as long a year ago was 54. And the kick by Gano off the upright and no good. Lamar Miller. The first down carry picks up 3 to the 43-yard line. Luke Kuechly again on the stop.
The remainder of the afternoon.
On second down, pressure coming. Savage gets rid of it quickly to Braxton Miller, who's dropped at the 45 by Kurt Coleman. Third down. Savage with good protection. Floats it a little tall for Lamar Miller.
When Bill O'Brien saw him, was not there on that play.
Leckler to punt it away. Demir Bird back for the Panthers from the 16-yard line. Bird slipped through a couple of tackles and tiptoes up to the 30-yard line before Dylan Cole knocks him out of bounds.
Finished.
Anderson on first down for the Panthers, looking over the middle. He finds his tight end, Greg Olsen, a big first down inside the 40-yard line and down to the Texan 39. He'll get the carry. McCaffrey picking his way forward, stumbling down at the 27-yard line, a pickup of 12. Motion from Ed Dixon, the tight end, on first down. Stewart with the carry. Good penetration by the Texans defense and dropped for a loss thanks to Brian Cushing. Only playing 3 games. You get a little excited when you think about him playing the full complement.
Yeah.
There's Stewart again trying to find running room to the outside. He's down near the 23-yard line. 5-yard pickup. Cushing in the middle, poised for what he hopes will be a great year with a strong front seven. Anderson on third down, floating it for the corner, looking for Benjamin. Kelvin Benjamin pulls it in for the touchdown.
Benjamin beat one of the best in the business. Jonathan Joseph in the corner. He's been in the league a long time. He's 33 years of age, but I'll tell you what, he's still a productive guy.
It's a big target for these Panthers. Extra point is up and good for Graham Gano, and a 7-0 lead for the Carolina Panthers.
2 drives for the opposition. Carolina with 94 yards. Houston with a -3.
And Braxton Miller fielding that kickoff. He'll take a knee. And the touchback for the Texans. As Tom Savage goes back to work at quarterback. Off play action. On the roll finds Griffin, the tight end, rumbling forward as the first down to the 36-yard line. Down at the 36. Here's Blue with a hole, and Alfred Blue across the 40 to the 42-yard line.
Hey, Alfred Blue was an excellent out-pitch guy. You know, if you had a lead early, you could close the game out with him.
Braxton Miller, get him on the edge and let him work, and he's out to the 49-yard line. Shaq Thompson on the stop, split out wide to the top side of your screen on first down and 10 at the 49-yard line. And here's Hopkins with his first catch of the preseason and into Panther territory. Down at the 46-yard line in the arms of Jared Norris.
In space, and we know what he can do after he gets the ball in his hand.
Back in the slot to the bottom side. Here's Braxton Miller trying to work around the Hopkins block, and he's down to the 45-yard line.
Gotta count through the numbers.
Savage, good protection. Blue out of the backfield. That's a first down. On first down, a flag is down. Teddy Williams was creeping up towards the line and coming into the backfield untouched.
False start. Offense, number 63. 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
Kendall Lambs. Here's Blue on first down. Got a good block from Prosh. And is back towards the original line of scrimmage with a late flag in. As the Texans are down to the 39.
For some plus yardage.
Holding. Offense, number 45. 10-yard penalty.
Holding penalty by Jay Prosh, 45. Comes
down.
up out of his stance.
Draw play to Blue. Blue trying to get to the edge, and he's down after a pickup of 5. For a preseason game.
It's a lot, no question about it. He's got maybe 3/4 of his offense in his back pocket, and you won't see it.
Pressure coming. Savage steps away, finds Jalen Strong, and a first down.
For 2 to 3 months with a broken collarbone.
On first down at the 27, here's Blue again. Nice cutback, finds the hole, has the first down to the 15 with a flag in late.
Doesn't get the credit.
Offense, number 68. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
For a holding penalty.
So back again, first and 18. Savage again with protection, finds Irvin, and Irvin dropped his helmet off on the tackle from David Mayo. On 2nd and 10. Savage over the middle. Hopkins with the grab. Another first down.
For plus yardage.
From the 16 on first down. Blue again with the carry. Blue to the 5. Pounding his way in for the touchdown.
The Billy, the patience, the old Edgerrin James slow to, fast through by Alfred Blue. Getting into the end zone. That is a textbook for you little leaguers out there. Being patient and waiting for that hole to open, not being anxious. Alfred Blue paying off. Excellent work by the offense, quarterback, play calling by Bill O'Brien.
Nick Novak on for the extra point, and we're all knotted up with 10 seconds to play in the first quarter for the kickoff for the Texans. Bear Barron with a good, strong kickoff and a touchback with plenty to spare. Now, new quarterback for the Panthers as we close out this first quarter. Joe Webb on at QB. Nice. The pass is deflected and incomplete. Excellent hands by Dayon Pratt. 2nd down and 10. McCaffrey with the carry. Gets to the edge, trying to turn on the speed, and McCaffrey out of bounds near the 32-yard line. A 7-yard pickup for McCaffrey. Ready to start the second quarter as Webb on 3rd down throws into traffic, and the pass is incomplete. Looking for Scott Simonson.
Is a pretty good indicator that their offense is capable.
Irvin back deep on the short punt by Andy Lee, which goes out of bounds, and the Texans are going to have excellent field position. Deshaun Watson. A lot of Clemson fans in the stands here tonight as Watson's first pass is caught. And out to the 43-yard line goes Rashawn Allen.
Out of it quickly, pace and tempo, a tactical advantage already. Moved him out of the pocket on the first play.
On 2nd down, and Watson a little bit tall for his tight end, Evan Bayless. What's about him is no matter what they're asking him to do, he can function in those modes. Watson using his legs, creating some space, finds room and finds his man on the sidelines, Drez Anderson, with a first down, the Panther 43-yard line.
Number 17 on the offense stepped out of bounds, came back in, was the first to touch the pass. Therefore, it is a loss of down. Where the ball was snapped from, it'll be 4th down.
On the ground right at the end of that replay. That hat always means somebody was out of the field to play. Excellent punt, good hang time for Leckler to the 8-yard line. Slipping through a couple of tackles and dancing down the sideline, going out of bounds. Texans.com today for more information. On first down, Webb throwing for his tight end Chris Manhertz. A flag is down as Manhertz is stacked up at the 38-yard line, short of the first down by a yard.
Illegal use of the hands to the face. Defense number 32. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
That's the rookie.
Well, especially so this year.
On first down from the 34, off the high snap, it goes to McCaffrey, and not a lot of running room up the middle for Christian McCaffrey. May have gotten a pair, but McCaffrey again. trying to get to the corner, and again it was Cunningham who was out there first, forced him to turn a bit.
Texans going to sit back and play zone on this one.
Webb with some time, looking down the sidelines. Flag is down, and the pass knocked away, incomplete.
Ends up high. Virgin pushing the guy out of bounds. Tries to locate the ball, but he's got that
Defense
right hand.
Number 32, a 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Compliment that outstanding front that he has.
After the penalty, first down. McCaffrey with the carry again, and McCaffrey across the 45 down to the 46-yard line. Cunningham and Scarlett both there again. And motion from Simonson on second down. Webb to McCaffrey once more, and Cunningham had a hand on him, and then McCaffrey shook out of the tackle, but that no one in the NFL can cover McCaffrey one-on-one.
That's high praise, I'll tell you.
And a great play by Jameel President to punt Tyler Irvin back inside the 10 for the Texans. Falls for the fair catch, and he'll make it at the 9.
For 4.
Crazy numbers in his career at Clemson as the carry just shy of the 20-yard line. Deontay Foreman.
Both downhill, he runs with finesse, but he also runs with speed and power, and he can walk away from you too.
On third down and a yard, Foreman trying to get to the edge, and he lowers the shoulder. Did he get the first? Looks like he's short. To punt it away, Kalen Clay back deep for the Panthers. Clay from the 35, and the flag is going to come in as Clay gets popped, waiting to field the punt. Eddie Pleasant got down there a beat too early. He was excited that no fair catch was called.
Kicking team number
but
35.
He got there a beat before the catch was made.
First down.
So in on who will be tonight's rising star. First and 10 from midfield, and Webb looking deep. Got a man out there. It's caught for the touchdown.
Well, it was man coverage, and Nelson had nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. He just simply got beat on that nice little post route, a little shake on the back end of it. Webb completed it. Outstanding job, poor job of Nelson trying to cover from behind. He just got put in his hip pocket.
Cam Gano on for the extra point. And a 14-7 lead for Carolina. Early on in this preseason from what those two quarterbacks have been able to do, Spencer.
Well, I think, Tom eventually got on track and moved him a little bit, but the first two series clearly were not impressive. And I think what they did with Watson is they moved him out of the pocket, playing to his skill sets. And again, we talked about this before as a flag is called on the field.
During the return of the kick, holding receiving team number 57. This penalty being
hold is going to push the Texans back. Brennan Scarlett on the 7 on first down. Watson complete to the tight end Rashawn Allen to the 9-yard line. Jared Norris there on the stop
for a couple of yards.
On 2nd and 7 off the play fake. There's Watson on that roll again. Looking deep with time down the right side and a little bit short for Jalen Strong. We got a flag down on the opposite side near the 20-yard line.
Be able to
holding
work on.
Defense number 55.
David Mayo called for the defensive hold. That'll be a first down for the Texans. He's had a strong camp as Mayo, but commits the infraction here. 15-yard line on first down. Watson double clutches over the middle, and he's got a man open with a fumble. The ball jarred out of the arms of Evan Bayless, loose on the field at the 34-yard line. Panthers say they have it, and they do. It over to the Panthers.
Well, Watson goes back, and he kind of has to double clutch this ball. He's moving, trying to look. Doesn't like what he saw, and again, the adjustment. The ball was handled well, but Morris comes in from that outside and just jars it out and causes the fumble. Got to hang on the ball in traffic, and the Texans, boy, backed up. Give the ball up. Bayless can't hang on to the rock.
Cameron Artis-Payne, the running back. Webb under some pressure, gets away from Scarlett. Webb using his legs, and Joe Webb out of bounds at the 30-yard line. Cameron Artis-Payne on the carry, trying to pick his way forward. Dylan Cole, among others, in there on the stop for the Texans at the 27-yard line. Brandon Dunn also 50-yard touchdown a few moments ago at the top of your screen. Webb looking that direction. Pressure coming late. The ball's off one of his linemen and incomplete.
Yep.
Then he threw it off the shoulder of Brennan Scarlett. 45-yard field goal try for Graham Gano, who missed earlier. This one is good, and the Panthers have a 17-7 lead. And Akeem Hunt, the deep men for the Texans.
Let's see if this is a short kick. Let's see if the return game can generate some offense here.
It's Akeem Hunt on the return. And Hunt will bring it out near the 30-yard line. Set the Texans up near the 30-yard line.
Edge blush.
Watson, short pass is caught.
Good job.
Watson on second down with a flag down, and it's dropped at the 40-yard line by Devin Street.
Defense number 57. This 5-yard penalty will result in a first down.
So Jeremy Cash offsides and a first down for the Texans, who's been in there non-stop. Big hole, Foreman to the outside and is tripped up at the Panther 47-yard line. Deontay Foreman with a burst. Cole Lukes from Julian Davenport through camp. On first down, Foreman with a little hurdle. And Foreman showing he's not just a power back, he's got some nimble Spencer Tillman-esque feet out there.
Training camp from some of the elder statesmen. He's earned his way here in the Texans roster.
Off play action, Watson jump past to McCarron. Riley McCarron inside the 30 and down to the 25-yard line. Another Wes Welker on the Texans sideline this year.
That's an added addition.
Watson, good protection. Nobody open. Watson. And this one he just threw away. Again, heads up play by the rookie quarterback. A regular high praise from Bill O'Brien on 2nd and 10. Flag is down. Watson will run. Big opening. And Watson slides down near the 17-yard line. We'll wait and see about the flag.
Illegal formation. Offense, number 82 on the wideout, covered up the tight end. This 5-yard penalty remains second down.
So these are the subtle.
So now an empty backfield with Watson in the gun. Quick toss to Akeem Hunt. Hunt inside the 15, and he's got a first down at the Panther 14-yard line. Texans hustling up to the line on first down. Here's Hunt on the cutback. Hunt inside the 10 and down near the 7-yard line. That's emphasis this preseason for the Texans. Scoring touchdowns in the red zone. Second down, Watson.
Beautiful.
With time, nobody open. And Watson will just throw this one away, and it's third down and 3. It's play clock at 7.
To your back.
Watson under some pressure, able to get away. Watson all the way back at the 20-yard line, heaves, and it's incomplete. There is a flag down, Spencer.
An eligible member of the offense downfield prior to the pass. Number 77. This penalty is declined. The result of the play creates fourth down.
David Najeeb, I mean, he's a mover.
25-yard try from Fairbairn, up and good, and the Texans.
I think you lend what I call the element of recency. What you do last, we tend to remember most, and he showed the little smile on his face there. I think there was he kidded himself in that single drive.
Down at the 25-yard line on the return. From the 25-yard line, Joe Webb back to work for the Panthers. 4-man rush. Webb throws, and it's dropped. Didn't catch it. I had it ready. Second down and 10, and that pass caught somehow amidst 3 defenders all the way out to the 48-yard line. Harris Garrett with the catch. Texans than almost any other year.
Yep, they're prepared for it. Bill has them focused.
Ozzie Whitaker on the draw play. Whitaker rumbles forward for the first down to the Texans' 41-yard line. From the 41 as they hurry it up. Webb under some pressure. Throws on the run. This time Frazier able to pull it in and go.
Yeah, the Panthers handle this pressure package. That's what it is.
Yep. Webb to Bird. And Bird inside the 30 with another first down to the 27-yard line. And the next few preseason games. From the 27, the pass deflected in the air and incomplete. That's an excellent play, as we talk about it, by Robert Nelson, who jumped to that secondary.
He's just got to be consistent with that.
On second down, Webb floating it to the end zone, intercepted by Corey Moore. overshot the intended receiver, and Corey Moore was there to pick it off and turn the Panthers away.
In accuracy, we saw Deshaun Watson struggle with that on the first couple of series. Here's another example from it. Forced the issue.
From the 20-yard line on first down, Watson over the middle, juggling catches made across the 40 by Drez Anderson, down to the 42, a pickup of 22 as the Texans hurry it up. On first down, Watson will step up again, floats it behind Akeem Hunt, and the incomplete pass will stop it with 13 seconds to go first half and a flag down.
Holding offense number 62, 10-yard penalty, repeat, first down.
Chad, and it's 1st and 20 back at the 32. Watson with time, four-man rush, looking deep, looking for Anderson, and it's knocked away. Anderson one-on-one with Teddy Williams. Maybe the final play of this first half. Watson throws it. Anderson on the sideline at the 40-yard line. And Anderson out of bounds inside the 35. And that is the end of the first half.
Directed as a result of an offensive lineman who's challenging him on a consistent basis. That's what you're looking for to see if he's made a complete recovery.
Bear Barons kickoff. Bird to work. Demir Bird down at the 23-yard line.
Squeeze that defender. And when you get a chance to make a tackle, you got to make it.
No Cam Newton tonight. Webb starting again in this second half after Derek Anderson. 2nd and 8 at the 24-yard line. Webb to the sideline. Bird is there, and Demir Bird tiptoes forward to midfield and a first down. After spending most of the year on the practice squad, he's had a big night tonight. From the 48, Cameron Artis-Payne with the carry, breaks one tackle into the secondary, and finally brought down by Zach Cunningham. Have moved it to the Texans' 28-yard line. Cameron Artis-Payne again, and this time nowhere to run. Webb, quick toss, catch is made at the 25-yard line, but an very bright future for the second-round pick. On third down, Webb, pressure from the backside, President chasing, Webb on the run, and Webb hurtling toward the sideline right at the marker. From the 18-yard line, Artis-Payne trying to find some running room, doesn't find any. 2nd down and 11. Four-man pressure from the Texans, gets to Webb, throws it low, and the pass is caught on a dive. No, now they'll say incomplete.
Carolina is challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass.
Deciding better to challenge that call, and just a couple of years ago that he had his team in the Super Bowl was one of the great stories in the league, and boy, I tell you, their fortunes went downhill in a hurry. Young for all time.
The ruling on the field is confirmed as an incomplete pass. Carolina will be charged with a first timeout.
Everybody's got a man up.
Pressure coming. Webb steps away. Webb to the edge. Webb with a first down as he hops out of bounds at the 8-yard line. Off balance just enough on the edge.
A little pistol action here.
And on first down, it's Cameron Artis-Payne. Tripped up. What a play by Robert Nelson. 2nd and goal at the 8-yard line. Webb with protection, floats it for the end zone. Bird with the catch, and it's a touchdown.
Nelson gets beat on this particular play, looking inside, and basically it's man coverage. It looks like a soft zone, but it's actually man coverage, and Nelson's the guy.
Carolina. Right down the middle, makes it 24-10 with 8:46 remaining on September 10th. Butker's kickoff. About 9.5 yards deep, bounding through the end zone for the touchback.
There's no threat there.
On first down, protection for Watson over the middle, finds the back. Deontay Foreman down at the 29-yard line. 2nd and 6 at the 29-yard line. Foreman again, pinballing his way up the middle to the 33-yard line where Ben
for the Longhorns.
3rd down and 2 from the 33 for the Texans. Watson in some trouble, fights his way forward and dives just shy of the first down. He was.
They'll get this.
Deontay Foreman, as predicted by Spencer Tillman, he gets it from the 36-yard line, a first down. Watson, quick toss to the sideline where Akeem Hunt is waiting, and Hunt able to muscle his way to the 44-yard line. The own Davenport, fourth-round pick, still in at left tackle. They'll run that direction with Hunt, and Hunt will have the first down. A flag comes flying in late as Jeremy Cash helps make the stop along with Ben Jacobs.
Holding, offense number 65. 10-yard penalty, repeat, second down.
Yard line. Panthers back off, a little pressure show. Watson on the run. Watson sliding down across the 40 to the 42. Jared Norris. Season game, Spencer, but he doesn't look like a rookie.
He doesn't. He looks so poised.
On third down, catch is made. Drez Anderson has a first down to the 47-yard line. Down and 10 at the 47-yard line. Watson to the sideline. Good fingertip grab, and then he drops it. Riley McCarron. Deontay Foreman on second down, close to midfield.
He should go to the top of the field.
Looking that direction on third down. Finding his man, Drez Anderson. First down and more as Anderson levels a little punishment on his way out of bounds at the 32. On the 32 on first down, Hunt on the delayed handoff, and Hunt gets a couple just shy of the 30-yard line. Back to Drez Anderson.
They can do a little switch route here. Nice.
Little swing over the middle to Akeem Hunt. That was almost sidearm from Deshaun Watson. And he's for Deshaun Watson. First and 10 at the 17-yard line.
Nice.
Watson led him a little too far. He's looking for Devin Street.
Well, throw off the hash.
On second down and 10. Watson checks down. Foreman with the grab. Breaks a tackle. Foreman could not keep his balance as...
Great job of doing that because that's one of the points of emphasis this year.
Watson on the run. Look at that field. Wide open. Watson in for the touchdown. For a touchdown.
This is the threat you didn't have last year with Brock Osweiler. Again, pulling that ball down and being able to have the speed and the confidence to split two defenders. One a defensive back. Actually, both of them nickel package. He's able to show you the speed and athleticism that led his team.
Score. And Fairbairn makes it a 7-point game. Very impressive, Spencer Tillman, what Watson was able to do there.
And I think he took about 7:50 off the clock, too, in the process. Great.
Garrett Gilbert on the field for the first time tonight for the Panthers, and he gives it on the end around to Kalen Clay, and Clay using his speed to get the first down for Deshaun Watson when he took the field for the first time tonight.
That's home cooking.
From the 43 on first down, Gilbert in some trouble, and a flag comes in as Gilbert is sacked by Brandon Dunn.
Yep. You know, head injuries and things of that nature. You can see it's clear. Great shot by our
number 79.
camera crew.
The penalty is declined.
Boy, they called second and 19 after the sack by Dunn. Gilbert, little outlet pass to Simmons. Jalen Simmons down near the 37-yard line, just a pickup of 3. Start of the fourth quarter starts with a 3rd and 17 as Gilbert finds Kalen Clay, and Clay knocked down out of bounds at the 47-yard line. He's going to... Michael Pilardi to punt it away. Decent hang time. McCarron will call for the fair catch, and he'll make it just across the 10-yard line.
To convert to first downs. That's something the Texans didn't do with the steadiness that they needed to be effective last year.
Off play action, Evan Bayless out near the 17-yard line. A pickup.
I don't have a very good comparison, but it's like a tease. It's just like 4 or 5 plays, get yourself in there, get your feet wet, and then take you out. But I feel good. I'm glad I got some game action.
Yeah, it's outsider to you guys about what this front seven, what this defense might be capable of in 2017.
Oh, we're very excited. We're very excited. So it's really good. I mean, the preseason is very much for learning.
All right, last thing, no more diving in Foursquare, okay?
No way. How the hell am I going to win if I don't dive?
Thanks, JJ. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Weekend Showdown. Call 832-667-2390 or visit AdvocareTexasKickoff.com to secure your seats today. Catch is made and then dropped. The ball is fumbled and scooped up by the Texans. Dylan Cole. Cole rumbling for the end zone. Touchdown! Camp for the Carolina Panthers.
The previous play
Rookie from
will go
Charlotte.
under review.
Now they're going to review this. Yeah. All scoring plays are reviewed automatically, and they're going to confirm that this was indeed a catch and a fumble. No question that it was taken into the end zone for the touchdown.
After review, it was an incomplete pass.
Wow.
Oh, boy.
It will be Carolina's ball. 3rd down and 9 at the 32-yard line.
At least at this moment. Pressure coming late, and it's dropped. Again, it's Austin Duke. Michael Pilardi on to punt it away. Riley McCarron back. Flag is down as McCarron fields at the 17-yard line. Makes a couple of men miss, and then McCarron down near the 22-yard line.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both against receiving team. Illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 32. This penalty is declined. Holding during the kick. Receiving team number 37. This penalty is accepted. Half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
First play for the Texans, and the handoff to Deontay Foreman, and Foreman with some running room. Foreman down the sideline and nudged out of bounds near midfield. Play action. Watson with time. Watson gonna run. And Watson, discretion being the better part of valor, gets out of bounds. Watson, pressure late, and he's upended. Tonight. What a treat on 3rd and 21, and the sack drops Deshaun Watson back to the 35-yard line. Good punt by Leckler. Austin Duke backing up at the 14-yard line. Duke got a block at the 20. A flag is down. Duke out of bounds across the 35-yard line.
Position, you're in
During
trouble.
the return of the kick, personal foul. Blindside block with contact to the head neck area of a defenseless player. Number 56. Penalty is half the distance to the goal.
So
1st
right
down.
there, Texans.
Boy, he's a tackling machine. He had nearly 200 tackles in his 3-year career at Clemson.
Jalen Simmons into the secondary and tripped up at the 29-yard line, a 19-yard pickup. And it's even.
Are they going to be assets for this stop unit?
From the 29 on 1st down, Simmons again with the carry for the Panthers and a pickup of 2 to the 31-yard line.
5 wides and get man coverage with people's back turned to number 4 and leave him unattended.
2nd down and 8. Simmons upended at the 33-yard line. 3rd down and 5. And the flag is thrown, and there's going to be a penalty against the Panthers that'll cost them 5.
False start. Offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty, and it remains 3rd down.
Get a little anxious, got to hold the water.
Pressure coming on 3rd down over the middle, and the catch is made by Austin Duke.
With this defense, you're going to win more games than not with that number.
From the 42 on 1st down, open is Duke, and Duke with a 1st down.
From a technique standpoint with the Texans.
Gilbert with time, looking for Duke again, and the pass a little too tall for the 5'9" rookie. Simmons the carry, stumbling down at the 34-yard line.
Simmons.
3rd down and 7. They're bringing the house. Gilbert looking down for the end zone. The pass batted away at the last moment. Boy, that field goal try to make it a 2-score game. And Butker, good leg, good accuracy. Field goal is good. 51 yards for Butker. Jalen Strong had some good moments tonight as well. Riley McCarron from the 4-yard line. McCarron down shy of the 20. Big
3-year-old out of Oklahoma State.
Whedon on 1st down having to scramble. And Whedon, quick toss. Nice. Good catch made by Justin Hardy, the rookie out of Illinois. And a first from the 32 on 1st down.
Nice touch.
Hardy, the intended receiver, and a little contact going up the field. And here comes the flag. He was locked up one-on-one with Jeff Richards, and it looked like Richards reached out and
to make that play.
Defense number 39. Automatic 1st down.
Handoff to Dare Ogunbowale, the rookie from Wisconsin. Ogunbowale down inside the 45 near the 43-yard line.
I can't really reach out and stop him. I mean, he's an asset to this team. It's going to be tough, in my opinion, to do something away with this kid. This kid has got some slip in him. He's a smart.
Don't have any timeouts. Takes a snap and spikes the football before anybody can notice it. Smart play.
That's heads up.
Whedon gonna tuck, and Whedon down at the 37-yard line.
Class and style, and he's got some great pickup there by him.
McCray with a blitz that came late and popped Whedon as he got rid of that one. LJ not bad. On 3rd and 7, deflected at the line and incomplete at UCLA. And this one's not going to be good.
This is going to be outstanding. I think they're going to use him at that left tackle position as a backstop as well until Dwayne Brown comes back around. And if you're going to make quantum leaps, if you have a bad outing or kind of ebb and flow where it's good and bad and it alternates, you're looking for consistency. Exploited in the second half, late in the third and the fourth quarter.
They're reviewing the last play prior to the 2-minute warning and looking to see if the ball was on its way out before Simmons went down.
It is out.
It is out.
It is out, and those knees were on top of another player, so he was not in contact with the ground.
That is a fumble.
The ruling on the field will stand as there was a fumble but no clear recovery in a pile of players. Therefore, Carolina will keep the ball. 4th down.
Here's Simmons trying to get the first down yardage, and he's going to tumble down. It looks initially just short.
Hopefully the Texans can respond with some consistent offensive play and a gelled defense.
Whedon on 1st down for Houston. Doubling catch made by Evan Bayless as to who stays on the 53.
Nice
on
throw.
2nd and 8, excellent throw. The catch made by Chris Thompson. And the glut of players on the market come September 1. Whedon over the middle, in and out of the hands of Chris Thompson. A big hit.
A little corner blitz look.
And the pressure gets to Whedon, and he's dropped. 19 after the sack by Zeke Bigger. Final play of preseason game number 1. Whedon airing it out, and that pass incomplete, and that's how we end it in Charlotte with the Panthers getting a win 27-17 over the Houston Texans.
Colin Jones walks up to try to support the run, ends up making the tackle on Deontay Foreman.